Alrighty there. Well, how do you do, FTM Kickstarters? Let's see if I can speak today. Who knows? My name is Travis, and this is week. I just looked at the email. 6. So we are speaking all about tea. Fantasticness. Okay, so all about tea. Where did I go and how did I find out about this place, I think is what I scribbled down on this piece of paper. I went to Howard Brown Health Center, which is located in downtown Chicago, kind of on the lakefront, the same place Jack goes. I've been going there for, 3 years and some change months. I found out about Howard Brown as far as achieving medical care and psychiatric care from my friends who had been transitioning previous to me starting, so they were already going there to get their hormones and see doctors and stuff like that, and so I figured, well, why not? It's easy enough for them to go there. It's a central location. I don't have to do any further research onto where to go because I don't live in Chicago. I live in the suburbs. So it does take me, like 30 minutes to get down there to pick up my stuff, but it's not a big deal. When I first started, I started off by going through therapy first. I was in therapy for probably about 2 months, I want to say, before I actually got hormones. I know at Howard Brown, at least when I was going through, they required, if you were of a certain age or younger, I think it was like 23 or something and younger, then you had to go to therapy first, and if you were over, then you had the option. You could do therapy or you could sign their informed consent kind of deal. But again, when I went, it was 3 years ago. I don't know if their policies have changed. Jack's gone more recently, so his information may be more up-to-date and correct. But I did go through several months of therapy. I felt that was the good option for me. I want to say it was like 2 months, and then we went through the this is what's going to happen, discussion. You're going to go through these changes, your body's going to do this, you're going to grow hair, you're going to, yada, 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 yada. Do you understand? Do you have any questions? That type of deal. I had that little talk before she actually sent a letter over to the medical side and said, hey, you can do blood work and prescribe him testosterone. So that was kind of that dealie, like I said, 2 months therapy, and then she sent me over to medical side, and then I kind of went to therapy for about another month after that, once I started, just to help me deal with all of the mental changes and physical changes and stuff that was going on in life and that I was dealing with at the same time too. But yeah, so went over to the medical side. They took like a bazillion vials of blood. Actually, I think it was probably like 5 that first time. Man, they want to test you for everything. Did the blood work. Then I had to come back for a separate appointment, go over the blood work, make sure nothing was up, talk about some family history problems and whatnot like that, and then gave me the okay, had me go fill my prescription for the testosterone needles, and then I came back into the medical area after I ran, right outside into the little entryway there to the Walgreens and picked up my stuff. I came back into the little medical exam room, and one of the medical assistants actually administered my first shot of testosterone and kind of walked me through how to do it, pinch the skin and, pull back and make sure you aspirate it and make sure there's no blood and, this and that and yada, 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 yada. But that's about it. After that, I was kind of on my own as far as shot, doing went. Just got that first one intro thing. Pap smears. Oh, yes. You will still have to get them. I believe I had to get one done probably about 6 months after I started hormones. My doctor recommended I get pap smear done because I hadn't had one done in so long. But it was not very enjoyable. Insurance. When I started hormones, I had insurance. However, I did not use my insurance because my insurance listed me as female, and I didn't know what the ramifications were going to be as far as trying to access hormones. And oh, my cat is moving the camera around. Pardon the turbulence we were experiencing during this video. But yeah, no, my insurance, I was still female at the time, so I didn't use it. I went to Howard Brown, obviously, and at that time they were accepting sliding scale patients. I've heard mixed answers as to whether or not they are at this moment in time. You'd have to call and ask. But when I went 3 years ago, they were doing sliding scale. So based off of my income, I didn't have to pay anything. So I basically did all of my therapy for $0 a session, and I went to a good number of sessions. So that saved me a lot of money there. And my first couple of medical appointments, I think my initial one for the blood test and my initial one for the instructional shot, I didn't have to pay out of pocket for anything. Shortly thereafter, they kind of created some kind of copay system. So based off of, you made this amount of money, so then you had to pay it was like $15 or something. I have to pay a visit. But yeah, beginning I didn't have insurance. Now I have insurance. I do use my insurance for my medical appointments as far as pap smears, checkups, blood work type stuff. My insurance does say male now, so I don't have any complications as far as that stuff goes, other than the pep. They don't really be like, oh yeah. But as far as my hormones go, as far as the testosterone needles, I do not use my insurance at this point in time. Because when I started taking hormones, I didn't have insurance. Howard Brown has like this Howard Brown healthcare plan, blah, blah, blah. I don't know what it is, but that's what it says when you look on the little receipt they give you, and it says plan, it says HBHC, so I'm assuming it's some kind of discount program because I go to their Walgreens. So I usually get my vial of tea for around, usually want to say it's about $10 and some change to $11 and some change. Sometimes maybe it spikes a little higher, a little lower, but usually it's right around $10, $11 for the vial, and then the needles are always $11.99, so you're talking what, like $22, $23 for the whole shebang. And I get my vial, and then I get 10 needles. I only use one size needle, so I don't have to get, I don't change my tips out anymore. Initially I did, and I think when I was changing the tips out, it was another $10 to that, so I was probably paying about $35-ish at that point in time. But now, like I said, I only pay like $22, $23 when I have to go. I inject every week. I do 0.5 or 0.6 every week. Sometimes I'll flip-flop and I'll go bi-weekly. But for the most part, I pretty much stay at weekly if I remember to do it on time. Otherwise, then it turns into a bi-weekly shot. So, but it doesn't really cause me any problems. But I guess, let me check my notes here. Moment. Yes, I believe those were all of the things I was supposed to touch on. So, yes, Howard Brown Healthcare Health Center. I have a link, but you can Google it if you live in the Chicagoland area or like Northwest Indiana. Oh, side note, if you live in the Chicagoland area and you're planning to go to Howard Brown Health Center and you do not live in like the Chicago city limits, I have Blue Cross Blue Shield, and I had to change my Network, I think is what it's called, to Illinois Masonic. I have HMO, so I don't know if that's different from a PPO. But if you have Blue Cross Blue Shield and it's an HMO, you have to make sure your little network thing says on your card Illinois Masonic. Otherwise, they can't take your insurance at Howard Brown. So I just had to call the insurance company and change that over and pick some fictional doctor in that network that I don't ever go to, just so my card will say, Illinois Masonic. But yes, that is it. Yes, so have a good day. If you have any questions, post them below. Email, message, post on the page. Yeah, so peace out, guys.